Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
Ever feel like you're stuck, setting those same goals every year and then bam, you hit the same roadblocks?
Ugh, it's the worst.
Well, get ready because today we're diving deep into the Zurich Resource Model.
The ZRM.
Yep, the ZRM. It's supposed to help us tap into all this unconscious potential we have so we can finally, make some real changes in our lives, lasting ones, not those New Year's resolution types that fizzle out by February.
I am so ready for that.
We've got this book. It's supposed to be our guide to all things ZRM.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Really, it's all about, bridging that gap between good intentions and actually reaching those goals. And the best part is it uses a totally scientifically grounded approach.
So we're not just wishing on a star or something.
Nope, no star wishing here. This is all about using hard science to make our brains work for us, not against us.
Okay, so how do we rewire ourselves for success? Where do we even begin?
Well, the book starts right at the source with the brain. It dives into how our brains actually form memories and how those memories then shape our behaviors.
So if I keep hitting the snooze button every morning, it's because my brain has created this super cozy memory of those extra 9 minutes.
Exactly. It loves that cozy memory. Think of it this way, okay?
Yeah.
Every time you even think a thought or you do something, any action, you're strengthening a pathway, right?
Yeah.
In your brain. It's kind of like, carving a groove into a path. The more you walk that path, the deeper the groove.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's just automatic. You can't even help but fall into that groove. It becomes a habit.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we change those pathways, especially when they're leading us in the wrong direction? Is this where the whole resource thing comes in, the resource part of the model?
Ding, 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 you got it. The book talks about these things called somatic markers.
Somatic marker.
They're basically emotional signposts in your brain.
Yeah.
They guide us toward things that feel good. And they steer us away from things that feel bad.
So when I see my email inbox and I feel this wave of dread,
Yep.
That's a somatic marker.
Totally a somatic marker. Your brain's run, danger. It's trying to protect you from the negativity it associates with that overflowing inbox.
So ZRM helps us figure out these markers and work with them.
Yeah.
Instead of just constantly trying to fight them.
You're getting it. It's we're learning to hack our brains or reprogram the reward system to work in our favor.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit. But if, we're all driven by these unconscious desires and these emotional signposts everywhere, does that mean that willpower is basically useless?
Not at all. Willpower is still important, but this book has this argument, is that willpower is only really effective when we understand our unconscious needs.
And then what? Use them.
Exactly. Use them. And it introduces this framework. It's called the Rubikon model. It lays out all these different stages of goal pursuit.
Wait, hold on. Are we suddenly talking about Roman history now?
Sort of.
Can I get the SparkNotes version?
Okay, so the Rubikon model, it's basically like a mental journey. You're going from point A to point B, and there are these 4 key phases you go through.
Okay, what are the phases?
First, you think about your goal, right? You contemplate it. Then you got to fully commit to that goal. That's step 2.
Yeah.
3, you take action, obviously. And then 4, you evaluate. Did it work? Did you get what you wanted? And the ZRM, it helps us through each of those phases by tapping into our desires, the unconscious ones.
So instead of just white knuckling it through with willpower, we're using a more, what's the word? Strategic approach.
Exactly. Strategic, smarter, not harder, right? And one of the tools the ZRM uses is, this is really cool, it's called the ideas basket.
Okay, so I'm picturing a basket. And it's filled with ideas, which honestly sounds kind of overwhelming.
No, it's not about having a million ideas. It's more about figuring out the why behind them. What's the motivation? It's you choose these images.
Yeah.
They have to really resonate with you.
Yeah.
Emotionally. And then you have this group discussion and you explore what those images might symbolize.
So it's kind of like visual therapy.
Kind of.
You bring in a picture of, I don't know, a beach, and suddenly you're oh, I just want more peace in my life.
Yes. That's a great example. Actually, in the book, there's this person, and they chose a picture of a couple dancing.
Yeah.
And through the discussion, they realized they were totally craving more joy
Yeah.
and connection. Things they hadn't even like admitted to themselves before.
Wow. So the ideas basket helps uncover those desires, the ones we don't even realize are driving us. That's wild.
Exactly. And once you get those desires, then you can set goals that actually line up
Yeah.
with what you truly want, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like you're way more likely to succeed.
Okay, so we've gone spelunking into our inner worlds. Now what? How do we actually set those goals? What makes a ZRM goal different from just like, writing down a wish list?
Ah, that's where the magic happens. That's where we get to the motto goals.
Motto. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, so motto goals. They're these statements.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be positive, okay? No negative vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to be in the present tense, like it's already happening. And they capture the feeling you want to cultivate or the attitude. They help bridge the gap, between your good intentions and all that powerful stuff brewing beneath the surface.
Okay, I need an example. I'm all about the examples.
Let's see. Okay. The book gives this one. It translates roughly to like a tiger, I dance into the world of men.
Whoa. Okay, I can practically feel the confidence radiating off that statement.
Right? That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
They got to pack a punch, these motto goals. They're supposed to make you feel something.
So it's not just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel along the way.
Bingo. You want to feel good while you're on the journey, right? Not just when you get to the destination.
Mm.
It's about aligning everything, your actions, your goals, your deep down desires. And the book, it even talks about, get this, embodying those feelings physically through like gestures and postures.
Hold on, are we talking about power poses here?
Not exactly power poses. It's more about finding like the physical expression that really clicks with your motto goal. There's this example in the book, right? It's this person. And to feel more confident, they imagined that they had like tiger fur on their hands.
Okay, that is so cool. It's like you're literally stepping into the feeling.
You got it. And that's just the beginning. ZRM has all these tools and techniques to help you put those motto goals into action and deal with all the inevitable challenges, right? The stuff that always seems to pop up. But we can dive into those next time.
I can't wait. My mind is officially blown. We went from brain networks to emotional signposts to tiger-inspired confidence boosts. I'm ready for more. All right, so I'm ready to get my hands dirty. We've explored all the, brainy stuff, somatic markers and Rubicon models. And of course, we can't forget about those tiger vibes for confidence. But now what? How do we put all the ZRM stuff into practice?
Yeah, you want to make it real.
Exactly. Is there a toolbox, a ZRM toolbox full of techniques?
You know what? There kind of is.
Yeah.
The book is seriously amazing when it comes to the practical stuff. And remember, one of the big things with ZRM is that willpower. It's not enough, especially when, your unconscious desires are pulling you in like the opposite direction.
Tell me about it. It's like, I should be working on that presentation, but my brain is all social media time.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
The book gets into the neuroscience of it.
Right.
It explains how our brains, they only have so much space for, conscious thought
Yeah.
and willpower. It's like a limited resource. We're just bombarded with so much information all the time. Our poor brains are trying to keep up.
So it's not just me being lazy.
Nope, not lazy. It's a real thing, neurologically speaking. It's like a mental energy budget. We only have so much willpower each day, and when it runs out, we're more likely to go back to, our old habits.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. But so, how does ZRM help to conserve that energy so willpower works for us?
Okay, so the key is this. We have to set things up to make it easier to actually do the things we want to do. Even when, the willpower's running low, remember those motto goals?
The positive statements in the present tense.
Yeah, those. They're crucial. They're like your guiding star. They remind you of the feeling or the attitude you want to have. But they need a little help. That's where primes come in. And also, if-then plans.
Can we do a quick refresher on primes?
Of course. So primes are like reminders.
Yeah.
And they're directly connected to your motto goal. They can be literally anything. Objects, pictures, sounds, even smells.
So if my motto goal is to be calm and focused at work, I could put a picture of, I don't know, a peaceful landscape on my desk.
Yes. Perfect. Every time you see it, it's like a little reminder.
Well, you're conscious.
Of the state you want to be in. It's like planting little seeds all throughout your day.
I love that. A little nudge. But what about the times when a nudge isn't enough? What about when you're going to face a real challenge?
Yes. For that, we've got if-then plans. These are super helpful for those challenges we know are coming. But they're hard because, our old habits want to take over.
Right, the situations where you can totally anticipate what's going to happen, but you still mess it up
Yeah.
because you fall back into old patterns.
You got it. With an if-then plan, it's like you decide ahead of time how you'll react in that situation. So you're way more likely to actually do the thing you want to do, even if you're feeling stressed or pressured.
So, for example, if my goal is to be more assertive,
Okay.
I could make a plan for when my boss asks me to work late again, instead of just like automatically saying yes.
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
I could have like a response ready.
That's exactly it. Like, hey, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. Boom. It's brilliant. You buy yourself time and you get to respond in a way that, fits your goal.
It's like having a script for those moments.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling good. But we have to be honest. Life is unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
What about the curveballs?
Ugh, those are the worst.
Yeah.
The ones that come out of nowhere. And then you're like, why did I do that?
Yep, those are the moments that keep me up at night.
Yep, those are the moments that keep me up at night. So what do we do when there's no script?
So this is interesting. The book has this idea. It's called a C log. And it's basically about becoming like a detective of your own behavior.
Okay, hold on. A C log. Tell me more.
It's a journal. You write down like all the unexpected challenges that happen and how you reacted to them. Then you can look for patterns and you start to see those triggers that, lead you off track. So if I notice, let's say I always overeat when I'm stressed, I'd write that down in my C log.
Yes. Write it all down. And then you can use that to, make a plan for next time.
So it's about turning those failures into like data.
Exactly. Data points. You're not beating yourself up. It's about learning
Oh,
and adapting.
love that. But sometimes we need more than a plan, right? We need like a cheerleader. What does the book say about getting support?
Talks about that. It's a whole section on resource people. They're the people in your life, your cheerleaders, who can give you encouragement and keep you accountable.
So it's like having, I don't know, a personal cheer squad, a coach, maybe therapists too.
All rolled into one. They help you stay on track and work through tough stuff and celebrate the wins, of course.
Community is so important. But before we go find all our resource people,
Yeah.
there's one more piece of the ZRM puzzle. We talked about embodiment before.
Oh, yes. Embodiment. The book says take your motto goal and then make a macro version of it.
Okay, what is a macro version?
It's basically like movements or postures that really bring your motto goal to life. Remember that person who imagined the tiger fur on their hands?
Yeah, to feel confident.
So the macro version is like a whole routine. It uses movement to make you feel that confidence. Like the ultimate fake it till you make it, but like with your whole body.
Okay, my brain is working overtime here. So we've got these motto goals, the primes, the if-then plans, the C-log, the resource people, and now the macro version. It's like a whole system.
You got it. ZRM gives you the framework, and then you get to make it your own. You customize it. It's a journey, but it helps you take control.
This is incredible. I have to start doing all of this. But I feel like we've just scratched the surface, haven't we? There's more to ZRM, right?
Oh, definitely. There's a whole other part. The book talks about how it's used in like psychotherapy and education and even with athletes. It can be used in so many ways. But before we get to all that, what's standing out to you the most so far?
Good question. For me, it's how practical it is, but also how empowering. It's not just a bunch of ideas. It's like a step-by-step guide. ZRM helps you understand yourself and then, use that knowledge to change your life. I love that, It's about way more than just like checking things off a list. It's like a journey. You discover all this stuff about yourself, and then you can create a life you actually love. But I got to know more about how it's being used out there in the real world. You were saying it's not just for personal development.
Oh,
right?
definitely not.
Oh.
The book talks about that. It goes into how ZRM is being used in like therapy settings, in education, even leadership training and sports performance. It's super adaptable.
So it's basically helpful for everyone.
Pretty much. Can you imagine? I mean, think about it. There are so many ways this could help people.
Give me some examples. Like, how is it actually being used?
Okay. So in psychotherapy, it can help people, regulate their emotions and develop better coping skills. Like the book talks about this study. They used ZRM with patients who had eating disorders.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and the results were really promising.
That makes sense to me. I mean, our emotions, they control so much of what we do.
They really do.
So if you can figure out how to manage them, that's huge.
Huge. That's exactly what the study showed. The participants, the ones who use ZRM, they got so much better at, handling their emotions and dealing with stress. They became aware of their triggers. And then they could come up with strategies, like healthy ways to respond.
That is amazing. It seems like ZRM could really help people with all sorts of challenges.
I think so too. And it's being used in all these other ways too, like in education, it can help students get motivated and become more resilient.
Oh, that's so important, especially now. So instead of just like, obsessing over grades,
Right.
ZRM helps students understand themselves
Mm,
and how they learn best.
you got it. It's about giving them the power to be in charge of their own education.
I love that. That's like what we were talking about before. That feeling of being in control. And didn't you say it was also being used in leadership training?
Yeah, the book goes into that too. It can help leaders, become more self-aware, develop their emotional intelligence, and like build better relationships. All those things are so important if you want to be a good leader.
It's amazing to me this model, it started out focusing on individual goals, right?
It did.
And now it's helping people in all these different areas of their lives. It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is. And you know what's cool? Research is still ongoing. There are all these studies happening, looking at how ZRM can help with chronic pain and anxiety and even depression. There's a lot of potential.
It's inspiring to see how much it can do. It's a good reminder that we all have these amazing resources inside of us. We just have to figure out how to tap into them. But I bet it takes more than just like reading a book.
Probably. It's like anything else.
Mhm.
The real key is you have to find what works for you and then commit to it. It's definitely a journey, not a quick fix.
It's about making these tools a part of your life.
That's a great way to put it. The ZRM gives you the structure, the framework, but then you got to take it and like make it your own.
I feel like I've learned so much just from this conversation. I have a whole new understanding of myself and, my own potential. I'm excited to get started with all of this.
That's awesome. And remember, you've got everything you need right inside of you. You can achieve anything you set your mind to and create a life you truly love.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through all of this. I'm sure our listeners are feeling super inspired.
You're very welcome. It's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everyone keeps exploring, see what ZRM can do for them.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to our deep dive into the Zurich Resource Model. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into, some more cutting-edge ideas and tools you can use to grow and, just be your best self. Until then, keep diving deep.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.